start in the Sheva Kavanos on number Yud Gimel. So he says, and so to get to that, he was talking, and this is what it's saying here. He's talking, and he says, "Shachoyse besod nekuda ketana ba'achre solosov." Okay, so here we have the word solosov again, and he worked that before, and that refers to the nukva. He said, "He nega pashtus lashon arav kan ubakama dukti." Shekona bedormita chanuk he rak besod nekuda achas. So I started thinking about this because of what he said. And he said that, in the Rishash, it talks about the different levels when you're saying the beginning of the Shemona Esrei, where the Nook is, and it shows you how she moves up at different stages. I didn't look at it really carefully, but I know that she starts out as a dot below the Yesod of Zeranpin, and then she grows up until she reaches the level of the chest. So here, we're not going into that. So he said, "V'chanuk he rak besod nekuda acha." She's just the secret of one little dot. Rak v'acha dormita, but then after the dormita, which I guess we've discussed in detail, I'm assuming, negdalas mekoyach hanai the tevuna hamagdilim also. So she grows as a result of the fact that the naya tevuna enters into her and causes her to grow. Ashkenazim. I guess that's especially supposed to, when you say Ashkenazim, it's supposed to be an insulting kind of way of talking. I really don't know. It just flows out of my mouth because I heard it one time. So, okay, so what's Ashkenazim? So, but that's besides the point. He says that what we said like this, or once again, if a rak la'achar hadormita, only after the Dumit. In other words, it's a process. Nigdelas mekoyach anai the devuna hamagdilim ozacha b'derek zocha b'cholcha chasidurim Ashkenazim. What else is there to say about this? But he says, the Harishash is the derech acheres. He has a different way of looking at this altogether. Acheres lo bezeh. And this topic, he has a different way of looking at it. Shvucha b'kodim b'dormita. He says, now look, before the dormita, negdelas anuk mikoyach hamochen shemekelas magazer anpin derech acharav. Says that you have this little idea. She's getting through that nekev that we said before. She's getting shefa derech zer anpin. So it's not like she wasn't growing at all. Shekuvar kodem adormita negdelas anuk. She was growing already. Mikoyach hamochen shemekelas magazer anpin derech acharav. So this is a nice thing to know something about the sequence of V'shir kumazo hu mechachazet zer anpin ad siyam raglo, because she moves up. Now I'm just trying to think, is she talking about the dot moves up? Or is he talking about that the dot stretches into that height? I thought it meant the dot stretches. But I'm not sure that he means that. Maybe he means the dot, over the course of this time, moves up. So she's ad siyam rag. Let me read again. He says, "Mekoyach hamocha shemekabel bezer anpen derek acharav." He gets that, and v'shir gumasa. And how tall is she? She is a mechachazet bezer anpen ad siyam raglo. Rak dekodem adormita, but only, before the deep sleep, mekabelis rak ha'aras amocha. She's only breathing a secondary light, because it's being filtered through that hole. And then she starts getting the big time lights. So what does this actually bring us to? So there, according to that, you have to really explain it. So that's why I guess I put in that idea that maybe the Nakuda moves up. But here it is that she's before the dormita, which means the entering of the nai of Ima into her. Now he has this question which we've answered. We've seen this answer before, so I was thinking, do I want to read this or not? He says, "Shahamochin niknasu bo niknasu bo chazul lehistalik memena." They leave. Kihem kiyusach of v'nishar yashan v'nirdam. So I guess if you look down the 4 lines down in the middle, it says he says kusta de kiyusa. I thought it was kista de kiyusa. So maybe a Hasidish, I don't know. He says kista de kiyusa, but he writes it kusta de kiyusa. So I guess let's go over and just read it simple enough. He says, but explains over there in Drush Vav, the Gam Be'ez Adormita, Nishach Bezecha Bechinas Kusta de Kiyus. So there's a little bit of a shtickle of life force still in him, a Rishimo, maybe. The Hainda Rabbi Kiyus Muetis. So these are mochin that he had at the time when he's in Kadnas. So he's defining the Kusta de Kiyasa. It's not just, I thought it was like a little dot. But I think, don't they also talk about this after a person is nifter? That there's still something there, and it's also this name, Kusta de Kiyasa. The Hainda Rabbi Kiyus Muatis. So in other words, he still has mochin the katnas there for shalom. Now I don't think I ever heard that before. For the mochin the godless, and the mochin the godless, they leave. The godless leaves. That's what's going to go into the nook. So his neshama, which is a real panemius, he's there. The nishabo chius muatis, and he's still alive. The person's still alive, but just on a very low level. So now let's go over to the next one. I'm not sure exactly where we're at. The next one is Va'achakach Niknasu Ba'achrov al Toch an Akevos. I don't know what I have a mark on this. I'm not sure where this is. Let's just look at number Kaf Bet up above just real quickly. Number Kaf Bet, Kaf Aleph. He said, "V'achakach niknasu ba'achrav el tocha nekevos." So after that, they go in niknasu ma'ach from his backside into the plural nekevos. Chelik me'amochem shemistalkem mizer anpen, v'hin amochem shebenai de devuna. That's the part. Niknasim is pashtu b'partzufi rachel, v'leah ha'omedes achre zer anpen of amochem shebenai de yasas nisharon l'amod al rosh ha'zech bebechinas or makif. Now, just parenthetically, I don't know, we discussed this before, but in the previous topic, which is that the shefa comes into Rachel. Well, Rachel is the one that's the dot. So what about Leah? So Leah was, as the mochin are coming to Zeranpin, so I guess we discussed this yesterday, she's manufactured from the back of the neck of Zeranpin, and so therefore she's from the das to the chaza. That's her position. So all that we're talking about here, this dot, is really talking about Rachel moving up into that same space at the interface between Leah, the feet of Leah, and the head of Rachel at the chaza, the Zeranpin. Let's have something over there too. Let's look at Kaf Bat here. Leah. And then after that, they spread until they get in the inside of Rachel. Leah Rachel omdim shnechem. So these two, they're both standing achre zer anpin in the back of zer anpin. Leah omeda keneged zer anpin mechadashalo ad siyum shlish emsoy ditferishalo. So where is he? He says Leah is standing opposite zer anpin from, as we know, from his das down to the chazer. Emsoy, he calls it the shlish emsoy, the teferes shalom. I think he means the beginning of the shlish emsoy, which is the chazer. Rachel omeda mekeneged, Rachel is standing omeda mekeneged the chilish shlish emsoy from the. Oh, he says it from the beginning of the third, the middle shlish. The teferes ad siyam radla v'kesed the Rachel malbish as ragle Leah. She actually covers over a little bit of Leah, b'makom hashlish emsoy, the teferes in that place. V'ata be'esa dormita kashem ispashtech b'mochim tochanok. His pashtus naasis toch partzufi shnechem Leah v'Rachel. So we're saying they're overlapping to a certain extent. V'Rachel milamala lamata, from up above coming downwards. So that's how that works. Let's come over here and let's look at number tes vav in the shefa. So the shefa, he writes over here, v'achar kach niknasu ma'achrov el tocha nekevos. So gvar bi'arna b'tiva gavona. So it's been talked about. He says he talked about it just now. The low call the mochin well, maybe he doesn't. Let's say the call mal mochin the yasas the yotzach min azah niknesach the nok. They said what the yasos. So he says not all of the mochin the Yisrael Sabat Tavuna go into the nok, as we know. The mochin the yasas the sharam al reisha the zer anpin like a makif. He said v'rak hamochem the Tavuna niknesach bechol the nok. But he says, well, yesh l'hosiv. Well, let me tell you something else. The be'etzem niknas chelak min hamochin the yasos gam came l'nuk. But wait a minute, there's some of yasos that also goes in. You said that it stays up above, that the yasos part stays up above, and here he says some of it does go in. V'hu l'sivas hachiluf. Let's go back to, we did have a little look at this. In one of the ha'aras over there on this switch, v'hu l'sivas ha'chiluf, the switch hana'aseh bein ha'mochen the yasas the mochen the tavuna. In other words, that before they come in, remember everything has to move. I think the gist of what we got out of that for me is that everything has to move into 3 lines, and so therefore, as it comes into the nook, you're going to get a mixture of X, Y, and Z. They're going to come out mixed. Sechel commotion is bar b'drasha chatzitzis over there. The tzad small the yasos mischalef im tzad yamin to devuna. So there's a switch. V'nimsa sha'achar hachilav, and it comes out like this: that after that switch takes place, yeshdam b'nai the yasos. So now in the yayimai of yasos, mochen the tzad yamin the yasos. But tzad yamim the tavuna. So your right hand, you have right hand, right side is all over there. So now you move everything to the right, left, and center. You're going to do that. So he says the yasas. The mochin the tzad yamim the yasas. So he says mochin the tzad yamim the yasas, but tzad yamim the tavuna. They're all there. Uvanai the tavuna. Let's look at the nai to the tavuna. Yesh ke'es mochin the tzad small the yasas. Man, so is in there too. Small to Tavuna. So now they're coming in, but there was a switch that took place as they're coming in. That seems to be what he's saying. Let me see, I'm constantly messing up these pages. V'tzad small, the Tavuna, the tzad is small, the v'yu'un, b'meloyim, over there, he says, v'nimsa the fizan. Shebenai the Tavuna, when tu Tavuna actually comes in, is not your good old Tavuna. It's a tavuna that got a little bit it's mixed up now a little bit with yasas. So he says tavuna nignasa benuk yeshnam heim mochin the tzad small the yasos the heim mochin the tzad small to tavuna. You're getting a left side, but it has some of the male aspect into it as well. Okay, that's another one. I think I got more. I'm not sure. I'm trying to remember. Did we learn the top part of this already, or not? Did we learn the tiv on this? I want to read the shefa. So let's read on to the tiv. He says, so if we looked at the tiv, I think we were down at number kaf vav. Number kaf vav in the tiv. V'achar kach v'yavia el ha'adam. So she's brought to the man. Keep it the chida. When she was actually part of him, as we know. Then the light comes out from him, derek nekev, so it comes out through this hole, achrei hachaza, the chutz. Ubone hakelim shal nukva, v'hoise he tzricha lekabel v'lianek b'meno, and she has to receive that, and she has to feed off of it. But the chen lo yachlo lahagdil legamre, she is not able to completely and totally grow. So this brings you the question: well, what is she? So, like I said before, it says maybe she's still a dot, but the dot moved up. I don't know. The chida rabakodim in the sira. Umedis Rachel ach ba'achim zeranpen. Vaz k'shachamochem is pashne bezan, and the mochem start moving into zeranpen. Lokeach la'atzbach as chelak hamochem shetzorach l'tzorach binyam gufal, which are the chesadim. Ve'elo rabbe'as chelak hamochem nimshach l'tzor binyan nof guf anok. So all of that is inside of zeranpen now. He says, "No salalecha b'derek nekev achrei chaz shalom." Now, I don't recall how this nekev works out. Why it's why there's how to get there. That's the question. But it is there. He's saying that. He said, "Chaz shalom." Ba'al yedechem nivnech b'binyan partzufa. So now she's getting built up. Umachba shachashefa over darko. So since the chef is going through that. Ain't a nook yakola the gadol the kumashalem, but she can't get the whole height. She can only get to the height of where the chaza is. Kevin shehi mekabelas rock tamsis mal shefa. She's only getting a taste of the sefer as iger shefa lokeich zeranpen. Well, I guess we'll keep reading, and we're going to read down to just through this part here, and then we'll go and look at this little piece in the shefa. So then the Nesira comes along. Which refers to Abba V'Ima, which is a little unusual that he's using that, but he wants to say that they're going to be what? Mashpia, Al Hanekeva Atzma, because they're going to go right into her herself. Shalo Al Yedei Zer Anpin Kenizker V'Al Yedei Kain Nigdalu Ba'od the Kalim Shalo, then they grow again. But Naasis, and what happens, parts of Shalom Shalo Al Yedei Zer Anpin, the complete parts of not through Zeranpin. But she's got to get the pure juice. And he's just explaining that it's not so pure, like just one side versus the next. Benimsa shemekabelas adar hasamochim shalo al yedei zeranpin. Ela me'ima mama shebekoyach hamochim chaladocha benigdach partzufa, the parts of shalom bein as a spheros. So therefore we're building her up. Therefore now she's getting it into complete parts of 10 spheros. So the pas of vayiven Hashem Elokim. So here he says that Hashem Elokim is Yisrael Savat Tavuna. As that he took that Sela. What that Sela? What is? Let me see where. As Sela that he took for this man to should have a wife. The Chavayoku Abba. Ve'Elokim is Ima. So he says it again. It's unusual that you see that, but that's what he means. He says the Hamochin the Abba ve'Ibachim abonim as a Tzela, which was the Tzela. The Tzela is the Nook. Umad the Kashach Rak Hamochin the Abba Niknazim Bava Yuun Sham Hakavona. Shaar Hakavona, Chef Hakavona. I'm sorry. So we'll get to that. Let's just finish it out and go to number Kaf Ches. And it says like this: now she's brought over to. He said v'yavia, so that means to me she's brought over to. So what's a koach that's bringing her over to it? I don't know, but she comes around because what? Because she wants him. She wants to be united with him. Let's say that. V'yavia al ha'adam panim b'panim and is davgu yachad, and they make a yichud. Now he says that her back has been rebuilt, and she has a complete back. And the next thing is that she's now able to be 10 spheros. There's an Asira. And now it's down to them mochin the panim. And what happens is a zivug takes place. Balzen the amber because of this, and it says in this pasuk, v'yavir al adam, and they brought her. She is brought to the man. Hainu, what does it mean? It says, because I'm troubled by the word, or concerned about the word v'yavir, because it makes it mashma. There's some force that's pushing her there, because of v'yavir al adam, that she is brought to the man. To the male aspect. Now the female aspect is now coming towards the male aspect. Hainu panim bepanim. And as a result of that, they're going to become to a yichud adam yada as chava ishto. Okay, so let's look just a little bit more, and now we'll go to the Shefa Kavanos on number Tes Zayin. So he said, "V'achasher nigda lebiyavir adam panim bepanim when his davgu yachad and the yichud take place." So he said, "Wait a minute." He said, "Yesh levar." There's two different ways of looking at this. Ha'echa b'kepeshuto. The koi al hamshachas hamochen deponim. So we're talking about, let's what? The hamshacha of mochen deponim now, which allows for zivug, v'hazivug agama loholeda, and the complete and total yichud. That's for the purpose. This is the ultimate purpose of giving birth. Because Amad Acher Gemar calls Seder on the Sira, so that after you complete the entire order of the Sira, Choseres and Nuk Pana Bapana, the Nuk goes back to be Pana Bapana. So this is what happens. She goes again. He says, and the Sira Choseres. Choseres means to me it was originally like that, but which is not true. Choseres, she returns a Nuk Panim to be facing him. V'nim shachim a mochen de panim lezun, and then the mochen starts the panim lezun start flowing down. L'mizdavkim v'nerish gavana kan zivug Yaakov Leah. So that's what we're talking about here. This is the yichud that takes place. What are we talking about here, right? Everybody's sleeping, or not, excuse me, Zerampin is sleeping. We're talking about the yichud that takes place between Yaakov and Leah on the Asa Bechatzas Alayla. V'kodim lo, and before that yichud takes place, Na'asas Nesira, the Nesira has to take place before that, which is before, it sounds like the same concept, excuse me, it's very different, but the concept where he's saying that we're talking about Elul over there, at the beginning of the Elul is where the gates start to open, and not Tishrei. So over here, it sounds like similar to that, V'kodim lo Asas and Nesira, so before the Nesira can take place, before the yichud can take place, the Nesira has to take place. Of ofen acher yesh, so that's so okay. So let's look at another way. He says the ofen acher yesh devar. We come out of his so he says, and also the Shem and Sasom gets into this, and the Sadeh, and he says b'shari rachmim chelik beis tshuva daled. He says shabias anok. And the yichud that were taking place, when she comes around, and now she's going to be with him, not the ultimate yichud that's taking the full body yichud, let's say, it's not that. Ella Hamadaber Khan, what do we talk about here? Who al zivug de bia rishona. We're back again with this Hanaasa b'chatzos alayla, which that's the one we're talking about. That's why he mentioned what yichud are you talking about here? So you're talking about the yichud of Yaakov and Leah. So he says that therefore that's taking place at Yechatzos Laila. He says Sha'olim, and what happens at that time? This is the beginning of the yichud. Sha'olim zun l'chek Abba v'ima. They go up into the bosom, so to speak, of Abba v'ima. V'sham omdim panim b'panim u'mizdavkim. And there they're able to go face to face, and they can make a yichud. Okay, so I took plenty of time there, and we got moving along.